lot of times I can't read.
I have different ones, but they're all in the washing machine.
Oh, I think we have at least 50, at least. Because all those work with it, so get another one, or, you know. But this one's good. This, and I don't wear my Selena because someone might steal it.
I know.
But
Let me
see,
get my cowboy
those
one.
don't have a metal clasp right here.
Yeah, I have some of those too.
See, this is what helps the
This
glasses
is-
from keeping from
Yeah,
falling out.
Yeah,
these
it
don't
does.
have those.
Yeah, and that's why it falls out, I can't wear those.
Helps you breathe better.
But if you pull it up and put your glasses on, look at that. You can-
Mine still.
Mine-
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still falls
My
out, yeah.
glasses won't.
It's not tight enough, yeah. And I have to wear this all day
Go.
while at work, then fogging
It's
up.
better to put holes in your mask.
She says we're live. Okay.
Okay. We're on my bed.
I had a pair like that. Yeah. Yeah, right.
It's a long time, huh?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Hello. We're going to go ahead and start this city council meeting for Tuesday, April 13th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Indivisible, liberty and justice.
Thank you. We'll take a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilmember Castaneda.
Here.
Councilmember Sotelo.
Here.
Councilmember Gorno.
Here.
Councilmember Zabala.
Here.
Councilmember De La Fuente.
Thank you. Okay, we need to vote in the meeting agenda, please.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion by Mark, seconded by Tootie. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Visitors' comments. Do we have any visitors' comments tonight? Jameson?
We did have one person who indicated they wanted to attend, but I do not see them at the meeting at this time. So I guess we do not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we need to vote in the consent agenda, please.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Mark, seconded by Diana. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Okay, we have no public hearing, no old business. New business is approval of resolution 2021-06, authorizing the mayor to sign an updated ballot Dropbox property used agreement.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2021-06, authorizing the mayor to sign updated ballot box Dropbox property use agreement.
I second the motion.
I have a motion by Mark and seconded by Diana. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. That was fast. Staff meetings? Jameson, do you have anything that you'd like to talk about?
Sure. I did want to just take an opportunity to update you guys on the COVID utility billing issue. So that darn governor extended the prohibition on shutoffs and late fees again. So now we cannot do any late fees or shutoffs till at least July 31st, or if so somehow the state of emergency is over before then we can, but so it got pushed back again. So as it sits right now, we do have 58 accounts that would be shut off if we weren't in this state of emergency. The total outstanding balance on those accounts is $71,643.57. The majority of those accounts are people who have less than 6 months past due, but some of them have basically not paid since January of last year. In fact, we have 3 accounts with people who have not made a single payment since January of last year and would have been turned off in March of last year, but the prohibition took effect. So just with those 3 accounts, they owe $8,484.16. So of the accounts that have more than 6 months past due, there's just 20 of them. So it's not that many. I mean, that doesn't seem like as many to me comparatively. It's basically 3.5% of our active accounts have not paid in the last 6 months. And 10% at 58 accounts is what hasn't paid or what would be eligible for shut off now. But it has not gotten significantly worse than it was, around June of last year. But we do still have those few stragglers that are just not paying, no matter how many things I send out, no matter how many times we talk to them. We have received a few people that have turned in their applications for a payment plan, but we can't put those payment plans into effect until the prohibition is over so that we can actually start enforcing them. So we're just still encouraging people to pay as much as they can, as often as they can, because once we are able to start enforcing, they will need to be on a payment plan to avoid late fees and shutoffs. And that's all I have for you today.
Thank you. You guys have any questions for her?
I do. So not any of them have even paid like $20, $25 on those accounts?
Those 3 that have been outstanding since January, that is correct. They have not made a single payment, not even a penny, since January of last year. Then there's, so basically, sorry, let me do math real quick in my head. I know I'm in accounting, but I don't do math in my head very good. So.
And excuse me, Jamie, and they know for sure that their water is going to be turned off?
Yeah, I've sent
deal is over.
many letters. Yep, we've sent a lot of stuff out. So, and they're getting their monthly bill that shows that balance on there. And it does have information for organizations to contact. But basically there's 11 accounts that haven't made any payments since since like June of last year. So those are the ones that in my opinion, are like the highest risk for haven't done anything really since we kind of figured out what was going on. The rest of them are making an effort. They are, I mean, even the ones that some people that have their accounts, 6-8 months past due that are still making payments when they can. And so I go through it, on a monthly basis, and it does make me happy. I see some people that have $1,000 balances, but they're making $20 payments a week when they can, and that they're really trying.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
but yeah, those other accounts, they just have made no effort. So.
Okay, I just have a question now. When this ordeal's over, what's going to happen with these people that they don't get their water turned on? I mean, I know they're going to be crying, well, we need our water because we got kids, or we need our water because, they just need the water. So what are you guys going to do?
Well, hopefully they would enter into an approved payment plan with us so that they could pay it off over time. And then as long as they met the obligations of that payment plan, they would get to maintain their services. If they were unable or unwilling to do that, unfortunately, the city will shut the water off, and it is not, people are not allowed to live in a residence that does not have water and sewer service. So at that point, they would run the risk of having their residence condemned.
Okay.
Out of these, how many are renters?
You know, I do not have that information. I did not think to look for that. So that's a great question, and I can look into that. I know we have had a few landlords that have come to the city that are very concerned because not only are we not receiving money, but they're not paying their landlords for their rent either. And so we actually have one landlord, $5,000 of this outstanding balance is because of one landlord that has several tenants that have all refused to pay. And so this landlord has done the best that they can to continue making the utility payments, but they're now behind, I want to say 3 or 4 months, because their tenants all stopped paying them, and they pay the water bill with the income that they get from their tenants. So it's going to be a real headache when we get to that point, but there was the American Relief Act, or whatever it's called, I think that's what it is, that did release more money to the states, cities and states, and hopefully we'll be able to maybe use some of that money to help some of those people in those situations. But at this point, we don't really know. They haven't come out with the exact rules for how that money will be used, and we likely wouldn't get any of it until June.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we'll move forward. Sylvia, do you have anything you'd like to?
No,
say?
thank you, Mayor.
Nothing? Chief, is there anything you'd like to?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
The city attorney.
Jamie, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, we're working on, well, let me add a couple quick things. We are working on a proposed purchase and sale agreement for the bank property that will come to you to take a look at. The idea is just put some ideas down on paper and then have you take a look at that. We did have a meeting yesterday with a developer who's contemplating a fairly significant project in the city. And that will result in some responses back to that developer. We'll have more to report later on to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So there's a couple of things. We did have a meeting with a contractor yesterday. They're very, very interested in putting 30 to 40 houses in here in Mapton. So we're starting to work a little bit close with them on what we're going to want from them in sidewalks, lighting, things like that, road conditions. It is going to be set in a place where part of the road is not paved. So that would, be part of that plan. We're hoping to pave the road, sidewalks. So, that's in the making. Let's hope everything goes through real good with that.
And that's with the clinic?
Huh?
Is that with the clinic that you're talking about?
No,
Or this- oh,
no, that's a
something else.
whole different. This is gonna come over between, can I say that? South Street and Fern,
Oh,
sort of right across from where I live, that whole big.
oh, so he did get it then.
They're definitely working on it. I mean, that's definitely in the making. So, and with that, 30 houses, it's gonna be real good for our taxes. It's gonna really help, what we bring in property tax and stuff. So every house matters. Let's see, what else?
I have something to comment on that.
Okay, go ahead.
I know in other cities, when there's big developments like that, like mail service. how would it
We can't hear you at all.
Oh, sorry.
She was asking about the mail service. So what they'd have to, because they're in city limits, so they'd have to rent a PO box.
But that's not true,
No.
Mayor,
Well,
because
they don't
what,
have to,
no,
but
because
No.
the new development, they get their mail at their house.
Yeah.
That's the only way. So it just depends on what we're gonna put
Oh,
on
I
yeah.
didn't
paper.
realize that.
So if
I
you
didn't
wanna
know
talk
that either.
to the post office and make sure, sometimes they'll make them put up, what they call CBUs, cluster boxes, so that way the
Oh,
one
yeah.
rural route that Mapton has can deliver there, because I don't think they have enough boxes for all those people.
Okay, okay, that's a good,
So
that's a very good
something
thing,
that-
thank you.
That's something they make the contractors pay for.
Okay. Okay, was there something else, Sylvia? Oh, Jamie, I have a question for you, the attorney. I had a phone call earlier today, and somebody was asking about when we go into executive session, if there's people that's not in the building and through coming on through their, through the internet. They want to know if we go into executive session. Last time we went into executive session, there's a council member not here, and they come onto executive session on their iPad. And so somebody just questioned how we know that there's nobody else with that person that's not in this room. And so I just want to make sure we're doing, it was a question I said I would bring up to you, and so that's why I'm bringing it up to you. So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I do. I think, what we've tried to do is Jameson has monitored who's in. The question of whether someone's standing there or not is something we haven't asked, but I think we should on a go forward basis. To make sure that really the only people that are listening in are in fact the council members that are allowed in the meeting and others that are allowed in. So I think we can follow up on that. And then I would also just admonish all of the council members is that it's you and only you in executive session.
Okay. So that's what we'll do. From now on, if we go into executive session, we'll just make sure with any council members that's not present, that nobody else is in the room or in the vicinity of them. Okay?
To
All right.
Yeah, I think to the best of our ability. And I think if it turns out that someone's violating it or not making a disclosure, we need to take and review that situation with a council member and evaluate what to do.
Okay.
Because it's a shared responsibility all of us have in going into an executive session.
Okay. All right. Do you guys have any questions? You guys? No? Okay, well, I just want to also, again, give kudos to my staff. We've had a lot of stuff go on the last 2 weeks, and my staff is just bucked up and got things done, Kudos to Sylvia for getting in the stuff we needed for LNI. She worked really hard on that, and it was a hard thing for her to do. So I'm thank you for getting it done. I know you was stressed. She was pretty stressed. We didn't give her much time to get it taken care of. So
They didn't give me 5 days.
and and Jameson, she's just finding stuff all the time, and the chief, he made some interesting things happen yesterday. So it's things are really coming, and people really are seeing it, and people's really loving it. They're loving the fact that our town is getting cleaned up, and they're loving the fact that we have good staff, knowledgeable staff that's not guessing at answers. And it's just I'm really, really blessed to be a part of this staff. So I guess with that, there's nothing else to say. Mark, did you have anything I didn't ask?
No, I don't have
Okay.
nothing tonight.
All right. Well, I guess with that, then we'll just
Hold
adjourn.
on, Mayor.
Go ahead.
May I ask the chief a question about the new police officer?
Sure.
To an extent, a lot
Right,
of it you'll have
extent.
to-
No, well, no, I just want, where was he a police officer before? He said he was a,
Oh yeah, he's a full-fledged.
yes, but where?
Out of Tri-Cities.
Okay, that's all I want to know, whether he was a police officer or not, or did we have to go send him to training
No.
or something?
No. He's a full-fledged 100% police officer. We don't have to send him to any type of training or any type anything. He's got everything.
How long has he been a police officer?
Chief, I can't remember, Chief. How long has Victor been a police officer?
A little over a year.
Yeah,
So,
he's sort
but
of.
just to kind of answer your question a little bit about what it goes into hiring a police officer, we were looking for lateral officers, which means that they've already been to the academy. So that saves us a lot of money and a lot of time. So he's already been to the academy. He has to go through an extensive background process. He has to go through a polygraph. He has to go through psychological testing, and that's after the selection process. So it's a pretty long process just to get to the point where he's at today. So we're really fortunate to have been able to get a lateral police officer. It's really competitive right now, and a lot of cities are offering really big bonuses for lateral police officers to come on board. But this is where he grew up, and this is what he wanted to come back to, where he grew up, and his wife grew up here too. So they wanted to come back here.
Okay, that answered my question.
Good job.
Thank you.
When I first interviewed him, I didn't realize he was actually from Mapton.
He's from Mapton, huh?
Yeah, and so it was like, I called Vera, it's like, do you know this guy?
I
She's all,
did, but she gave me the wrong
I
name.
his last name's hard for me to pronounce, so she's all, I don't think so, and it's like, man, I said, I just don't know who he is, and in a way, it's good that I don't know, but I think he's gonna work out. He's bilingual, I've already had some people say, hey, you got a new cop, and and I have had a complaint already, which is a good thing. So, it sort of sounds crazy, but a lot of people complain to me about, well, your cop pulled me over. I wasn't doing anything wrong. Well, no, my cops ain't pulling you over if you ain't doing something wrong. They're not just out there saying, oh, I'm going to pull over that blue car, So, I'm pretty excited. It was hard to get this third.
Chief said on Mondays it's blue cars, Tuesdays it's red, and then so I just stay off the streets up at my day with
Yeah.
color.
And he is sort of a newer cop, he doesn't have a lot of experience, but we have a really good chief that's going to teach him how we want him to learn, and sometimes that's better, getting a fresh cop, that we can teach him the way we want him to learn and not the way somebody else has taught him that's not okay, because a lot of times fresh cops get put out there all by themselves, and so it's nice that chief's going to be able to help him with that. Okay, well, I guess if that's everything, we'll go ahead and end this session at 7:20.
Okay.